Hey folks, it's Dr. Brenda, founder of the Gutsy Women Club, where women dare to dream and take bold actions to follow their heart's journey. Hey, check out my new hoodie. Oh yeah, Gutsy Women, camp with cats. I got a dog version too, just for those of you who prefer dogs. So hey, please subscribe below. It is the 4th of July and I am on the Oregon coast. It is hoodie season on the Oregon coast for sure. I have my party hat on and it actually has nothing to do with it being the 4th of July. So let me tell you why I'm so happy today, because today is day 66. So what? Okay. It's day 66 since I gave up alcohol, and I've also been really working on being disciplined with my fast, with intermittent fasting. Try to get out and walk more, but in May I did a video, I did a May makeover. Okay, so that was the start of my 30-day walking challenge. I walked at least 30 minutes every day for 30 days. And continued as much as I could into June, and now we're into July. I've been very disciplined with the intermittent fasting. I try to do 20-hour fasts. I mix it up a little bit. There, and then I gave up alcohol. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about habits and why I'm excited that it's 66 days. You see, when I was younger, and you might have heard this too, oh, give it 3 weeks. You'll have a new habit in 3 weeks. Okay, none of that was ever based on science, just like your pedometer, like to get 10,000 steps in a day. That was from a pedometer company. It has nothing to do with science. And by the way, it's more like 7,500 is what you need. So I was like, all right, what about habits? I'm working on changing my habits. And the literature that I saw and the research, the real research, is more like it takes on average 66 days. And average means maybe some people do create a solid good habit or eliminate a bad habit in 40 days. And other people, maybe it's 80 days. But the average is 66 days. I am there today. So here's I'm going to talk to you a little bit about habits. So habits, you have to really stop and think about there's a habit loop. So the first thing is a cue. There's a trigger, what touches off the habit. Then there is the routine. So what's the routine that you keep following? And then lastly, there's a reward. So probably the best examples of habits have to do with food and alcohol. Really. So if you think that the two most common cues are the time of day, so it's timing, and then the second thing is place or location, where are you or who are you with, sort of that bigger circumstance. So for me, I began by really analyzing my habits, and for me, drinking beer, I grew up in Wisconsin, I know my good beers. And it had started to become just a routine, a habit, and didn't really fit with the way I wanted my body to be. So I started by looking at the cues, and for me the cues were really two things. Nighttime, I got bored, I've done a lot of work on my business and I need to unwind. So it was an evening type of thing. The second thing is emotional. So, like I'm more tempted to have a beer after I've driven the RV and I've backed it in and I've got all settled. It's like, okay, that was like exhausting or frustrating or whatever, and I need a reward to compensate for that, or the behavior of being bored, that emotion of just like, I have to have something to do. So the first thing I did was really like analyze what are my cues? And then it's like, did I really want the alcohol? I mean, that was the routine I had established. And I started this, so my first attempt, I'll be honest with you, was in January. I've done a dry January before, so I thought I'm going to do a dry January. And that lasted until January 6th. Okay, you know what happened on January 6th? I think most of us were glued in front of the TV in shock and hopefully horror when the Capitol was sieged. So it was like, oh my God, this is a bad time to give up alcohol. I'm gonna need some booze to help me get through this day. So yeah, that was, I'd only lasted from January 1st to January 6th in January, but I started tracking. I have an app, and I'll write that in the description, because the one I use now is called Reframe, and I really like it because it's more of cognitive behavioral therapy, rather than thinking that, you know, alcohol, for all of us, it's not a physical addiction, it's more of a habit. Certainly cravings are there, but it's really habit driven. So I started to track, and so it's like, okay, my goal is to limit alcohol. All right, so maybe I'm just going to do this on Friday nights. Maybe I'm just going to have alcohol when I go out with friends. Maybe I'm da-da-da. So I tried all of those things, and I could look back and see that, all right, you know, I opened the door, and pretty soon the habits come back. So it becomes, you know, 2 nights a week, 3 nights a week, 4 nights. Oh, I did okay. I didn't drink for 2 nights a week. So I could see that, you know, visually on my app, like, you know what, I go for 3 days without alcohol, then I have some alcohol. So at the end of April, I'd really decided to do the May makeover. I'd gotten on the scale, and I was like, whoa, I still weigh an awful lot. I got to get serious about fasting. I got to get serious about my health. I got to get serious about drinking, you know. It's like I just when I think about the body I want and the person I want to be, you know, being overweight and feeling kind of lousy, or waking up, you know, not feeling the best because you drank the night before. It's like, that's not what I want for my future. It's not what I want for my current life. And I began to think about, you know, the pros and the cons, you know, and it's like, I'm not really getting anything out of alcohol. It's just not serving my needs. I'm on my own. I don't have pressure from anyone to drink. It's just a habit. I've got to just break the habit. So that is what I did. I've been using an app called Reframe, and every day I've got different things to read. It has, you know, if I am craving alcohol, it gives you a diversion, because it's like, okay, if you can just make it for the next 20 minutes, usually that craving ends. But it's all about habit forming. The other piece of the puzzle has been intermittent fasting. So I've been pretty good at not eating in the evening, so that's a good thing. But I decided, you know, I'm going to try to do 20-hour fast, sometimes 24, sometimes 36. Sometimes I don't fast at all during the day, but I know that my body likes to mix things up. If I do anything routine, it just hits this plateau, and that's where it stays. So I wanted to see, can I turn intermittent fasting into a habit? And I can say, yeah, it has gotten easier over time. I like the results. So one of the things I did in my Facebook group, I'm like, okay, when I left on the road a year plus, you know, 13 months ago, I was very obese, and I didn't want to take a scale with me. So I didn't weigh myself for months at a time. And the weight is like, okay, it's just one measure, right? And I'd gotten on the scale at my brother's house in May, and it's like, you know, I'm still over that obesity line. I got to do better. I want to know when I'm below it, and I'm having a hard time finding scales, so I'm just going to have to buy one. So I bought one, and it arrived last week, and I stepped out on it in the afternoon, and I'm like, I think I'll wait until the morning. Always go for that morning weight, ladies, right? So I stepped on it in the morning, and yeah, great, I am under the obesity zone. But my weight, the number is still much higher than I thought. And it's like, okay, I am not going to get on this scale again for a week, 2 weeks. I'm just going to go about my business. I don't want to be tied to a number on that scale. So it's going to, I think, help me as I mix up the fast. Maybe I can find a routine, a fasting routine, you know, longer fast, shorter fast, mixing it up, breaking it with a high protein shake. You know, I can tweak things to see how I do in terms of the scale. And by the way, you know, with all that work, with giving up booze, doing more walking, and intermittent fasting, I've only lost about a pound a week, a little over a pound a week. So it is not fast weight loss at all for me. And I am, you know, I'm in the latter part of my 50s. It gets more and more difficult. So yeah, so I am at day 66. One of the things that also, part of this is making new habits and part of it is breaking old habits. The alcohol, I mean, I can say it's not like I'm never going to drink again. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I certainly don't need it in my daily life. I don't need it in my weekly life. And I'm really not missing it. How to replace sort of those evening things. I did get a guitar from my brother's. My brother was, you know, I was like, okay, this is sitting around. You want the guitar? I said, sure. So I thought, okay, I'm going to learn how to play the guitar well. You know, it's like 2 months later, and I can't get past the first lesson, and I haven't been disciplined at all about that. But I partly did it because it's like, keeps my hands busy. I've got something to do in the evening. I started to take more walks in the evening when I can, you know, the times that I would be more tempted, you know, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The times that I'm more tempted to drink, I'll try to go out and I'll walk, I'll read. I've got plenty of work to do. The intermittent fasting, so I think I'm at about hour 18 right now. I feel fine. There are days when I am hungry and I sort of honor that hunger and I'll eat more. There are days when it's like, you know what, I could go for 6 more hours and be fine. It's about, all of this is about being in tune with my body, being in tune with my habits. You know, what do I want out of my life? Are my habits serving me? Are my habits hindering me? If I have any tips, it is this. You got to track it, okay? You got to track it. I have a fasting app. I have an alcohol-free app. And each day I check in, okay? I mark how many hours I've got, you know, okay, today I had 0 drinks. And I can see the progress. You've got to track it. If you don't track it, you don't pay attention to it. You pay attention to what you track. So that is my biggest piece of advice. The other thing is really look at that habit loop. Are you, you know, maybe you take a break in the afternoon, or, you know, snacking at night. Snacking at night is a habit for a lot of people. And it's usually like, okay, I'm going to sit in front of the TV. I'm going to snack. And it's like, okay, what is it that you want to do? Like, can you do something else with your hands? Is that snacking? You know, is that what purpose is that serving? Can you limit it? Can you have your popcorn once a week? So there are all kinds of things. We all have our habits. I think you know what they are, and give it time. Track it. Use apps. There's also so many support communities. There's support communities for going alcohol free. There's support communities for intermittent fasting. You name it, they're out there. But yep, it is party time for me, because I hit day 66. And you know what? That number on the scale doesn't reflect how incredibly fantastic I feel. It doesn't reflect how insanely happy I have been on so many occasions. It's my face that says, hey, life is good. I'm doing good. I want you guys to do good. So, hey, think about changing those habits, making them better. Happy Independence Day. Be independent from those bad habits. Okay, hey, that's it for today. Party time. Boozeless party time. You know, maybe cinnamon tea, or maybe I'll go out and get a croissant or something. All right, guys, you take care. Please subscribe, and good luck. If you're breaking habits, let me know what your tricks are, how it's going. Feel free to comment. Take it easy. Bye-bye.